Hey guys, how's it going? Brandon here and welcome back you guys to another Pokemon Challenge video. Early game Pokemon have become more of a staple in the Pokemon games and produced some fan favourites along the lines of Pidgeot, Swellow and Staraptor, but there also comes a time where the early game Pokemon isn't so great. So now this is down to opinion of course, but most would agree that Unfezant is terrible. With no standout stats or crazy move pool, it's just bottom of the barrel for me. With that being said, it's time to see if we can beat Pokemon Black or White with only a Pidove. Before we get started, let's start with the rules for this run. I'm only allowed to use a Pidove in battle. Other Pokemon in the party will be used for HMs. No items allowed in battle, so potions, revives, held items will be allowed though. No glitches or exploits. I will come clean early and say I did use one cheat code, and that being the rustling of grass to appear more often. With me being at university and really having limited time to do these, I wanted to get this video out for you guys as quickly as possible, and since I was going to be training off the rustling grass, it's just only speeding up a process. Since Gen 5 also has the EXP hold, where the amount of EXP you gain is based on level, not the Pokemon itself, it's literally saved me possible days in grinding. If it makes you want to dislike the video, then sure, go on ahead and do so, but I know this saved me so much time. I'm writing this after the challenge, but still make sure let me know in the comment section below if you thought I managed to beat it or not. With that being said, let's get on with this. So, time to start our adventure in Unova. We meet Professor Juniper for the first time, first ever female professor by the way, shout out to Juniper. We do our name for this run, we call ourselves Bird Boy. I really couldn't think of anything clever to name ourselves for this run really. I changed Oshawott in the bag for Pidove. Some of you will point out this straight away that this really does actually give me a type advantage against both Bianca and Cherin throughout the game. But since it's my channel and there's about 15 rival battles in this game, I'm really giving myself some slack here. We were in the first tutorial battles against them quite convincingly enough. Although there is loads of talk in this game, I'm going to take notes from my previous challenge video. Instead of talking about every single aspect to level up, I'm really just going to focus on the main battles at hand and, you know, the main parts of the story just so it flows well. Moving forward, our first battle with N, with us being a level above him, we take him down with a breeze. Get it? Because we used Gust? No? Subscribe for top quality humour. Why not? Moving forward, it's our first real battle with Bianca. Other than the tutorial, and funny enough, due to a crit tackle from a Lillipup, then a burn from an Ember from our Tepic, we actually lose our first fight. I go back to try again, the second time we actually take her down quite comfortably. Into the next town and we surprise another battle. No, but seriously, although there are a lot of rival battles in this game, and the text the start of the game is so slow, Gen 5 is actually one of my favourite generations. The story's great, the characters work, and the Pokemon that were introduced are absolutely awesome. So, the amount of people that shit on this game, I'm not in your favour. I think Gen 5 was absolutely fantastic. But moving on, we got our first gym badge, and since I replaced Oshawott, we get paired up with Silent and his grass types. So, plot twist, we get the type advantage, so screw you Silent, you sucked in the anime, you suck now. And to rub it in, we get a crit Gust to assert our dominance and claim our first gym badge. On to Route 3 we go, and our next battle with Cherin. He also gained a first gym badge, so wants to make sure that we haven't got weaker in the last 10 minutes. Jesus. With our new move Air Cutter, which is a high crit chance along with our ability Super Luck, I'm going to start getting crits for absolute days, which is exactly what we do to take down a Snivy before his Purloin goes down to just 2 quick attacks. On to Nacrane City, where we decide to go train in the outer of the Pinwheel Forest before taking on Lenora and her normal types. I train to level 28, also learning Roost so I can recover HP and take away our flying type for that turn. We bump into N outside the museum. Since we just trained, we whoop his ass for the second time. Speaking of second times, it's time for our second gym. There's a reason I trained up to level 28 for this. It's because Lenora's Pokemon 1 hit hard, and 2 her Herdier is Intimidate, and since my attack stat is way higher than my special, Quick Attack has been my best move so far. I did also forget to mention I taught Pidove workup, since setting up on people and sweeping is pretty much going to be my main thing for this playthrough. Sorry if you don't like that, but I'm only using a Pidove for God's sake. Time for our second gym battle, and it's time for Lenora. I work up Tom 1 to get my attack back to neutral. Like I said, her Herdier is Intimidate. I get my special to +1 as well though. Herdier goes for Leer, lowering my defense, which is really not good. I go for an Air Cutter and hope for a crit, but to no avail. A takedown does huge damage, but decent recall to herself in return. I decide to Roost up since I know next takedown she'll probably be in healing range. Another Air Cutter and another Leer before one final Air Cutter takes it down. In comes Watchog, but it outspeeds and retaliates and completely destroys us. I need to get a few more levels first. Now at level 30, it's time to try again. Same strategy as before, we work up to get our stats back, and she misses a takedown. I take this advantage to work up again, before getting our attack to +1, before she leers again. I click work up for a third time to get her attack to +2, before her takedown does just under half. A quick attack quickly takes down the Herdia. Get it? Quick attack. Alright, I'll stop. Once again our Watchdog comes in, we quick attack but lives on red health before she then misses her hypnosis. She heals using a super potion, but we quick attack again, this time getting a critical hit, taking it down and winning our second gym badge. Now onto Pinwheel Forest for some Team Plasma stuff. First real time I'm really mentioning the Team Plasma stuff, but not too much happens. We run through them completely and get the Dragon Scroll back before heading towards the Sky Aratella and Castelia City. On our way we pick up the Quick Claw, might come in handy later. Onto Castelia City and straight into the Battle Tower building, I think it's called that. We pick up the Scope Lens for the crits. This item increases the critical hit chance along with our ability Super Luck. This is going to really allow us to do some serious damage. Time for our third gym battle, and Bug type leader Berg. Being super effective against this type means we don't really struggle with this at all. I work up in his Whirlipede before taking everything down with a single air slash. His double didn't even have Sturdy to live the hit. With our third gym badge, it's time to head towards Route 4 in the Desert Resort. We'll grab the Eviolite on the way out of the city, an item that boosts both defenses to any Pokemon that can still evolve, so this will be super helpful later on in the run. Our next battle with Bianca, and this one is a pushover. We set up 2 workups and a Herdia before taking everything down with 1 hit. On Route 4 in our next battle with Cheran, just like Bianca fight, I set up on his first Pokemon Pidove before taking the rest down with 1 hit. We make it through Route 4 and onto Nimbasa City. It's here where we encounter Team Plasma once again, giving grief to the daycare guy. We take them down pretty quickly and he hands us the bike as a reward. We head on into the Pokemon Center. It's here where we pick up the TM for Return. Return is a physical normal type move which is more base power based on the happiness of the Pokemon that uses it. Since we're only using a Pidove, its happiness should be at the maximum by this point, which means that this has a base power of 102. A quick stop to the Pokemon Theatre to play Dress Up before bumping into N and having a good old fun time on the Ferris wheel. It's here that he tells us that he's become the king of Team Plasma or something, and that they're going to liberate Pokemon, something along those lines. I kind of just zone out and watch the wheel turn round and round. After our fun ride, it's time to have another battle. A work up and then 4 returns is all that was needed to defeat this man once again. Time for our 4th gym battle, Elisa and electric types. This was going to be the complete opposite of the last gym battle. We're weak to electric types, and the 2 Pokemon she uses are super quick. Firstly her Emolga, which has a base speed stat of 103, and then secondly her Zebstrika, which has a base speed stat of 116. This basically means that I won't be able to speed these guys without leveling up really high. Our first attempt of the battle, I decided to click Work Up to make sure that I one-shot with Return on everything. She decides to click Pursuit, doing little damage. Next time round she uses Volt Switch, dealing massive damage, but because of Volt Switch switching Emolga out, I knocked the second one on the switch in. As it comes back in, I click Roost to get a Quick Claw pop to recover a load of health. Since Roost takes away my flying type for that turn, another Volt Switch does around a third. In comes her Zebstrika, and I don't get the Quick Claw, so it takes me down with a Volt Switch on its own. I either need to trade or hope for some Quick Claw luck to have any chance of beating her. I go and train and get myself to level 43 before trying again. This time round I decide just to click Return as I feel like I have high enough level where I will just one-shot anyway. I get the Quick Claw and her first Emolga goes down before being able to do damage to me. In comes the second Emolga. This one clicks Volt Switch and deals just over half of my health before the incoming Zebstrika goes down just to a single return as well. The final Pokemon Emolga comes in and I click Return and get the Quick Claw pop for a second time, take it down and get our 4th gym badge. I got really lucky on this one. On to Route 5 and another battle with Cheran. You guys know the drill at this point. I'm so high level because of Elisa that a Return can just one-shot his entire team. As we travel over the Driftvale Bridge, we catch a Ducklet for our Surf and Fly Itchin and name him Ducky. As we enter Driftvale itself, we run into its gym leader Clay, who asks us to find Team Plasma for taking on his gym. We find them all in a huddle in the ice storage of all things and just take them down one by one. Time for our 5th gym badge, and it's time for Clay and his ground types. Normally a great advantage for us since his stab hits don't actually affect flying types, but it's Ace Excadrill, a hard hitting ground steel type, so none of our attacks actually do much damage whatsoever. So our first attempt to Clay, and he starts with his Crocorock. I go for Work Up as he goes for Swagger, raising my attack but confusing me. This is both good and bad since Return will now do so much damage, but if I hit myself in confusion, I'm going to do serious damage to myself as well. Next turn I click Work Up again. Looking back at this, I'm not sure why I clicked this. Maybe I was really worried about Excadrill, but we managed to break through the confusion as he goes for Crunch. I then break through again and hit Return, knocking it out. In comes the Excadrill. He goes for Home Claws, outspeeding, raising his attack and accuracy. This isn't good since it knows Rock Slide, which will absolutely destroy us at +1. We then hit ourselves with Confusion, dealing huge damage to ourselves, allowing Excadrill to just take us down with a slash in the next turn. Attempt number 2, this time Crocorock goes for Crunch on our Work Up, allowing us to take it down next turn with a Return. In comes Excadrill, and our Quick Claw pops, allowing us to hit a return, first time getting a critical hit and taking down Excadrill in just a one shot. Finally, his Power Pidove also goes down just a single return, allowing us to get our 5th gym badge. 2 gyms in a row where my luck really has been lucky. On our way out of the city towards Route 6, and it's time for another battle with Bianca. Same story, different battle. Isetta will work up and then take her team down one by one with return and air slash. After she hands us the HM plus fly, allowing us to fly to places we've originally been to. I'm not going to teach us to Pidove on the run because I feel like there's a better option available, and since fly can actually miss and it's a 2-turn move, I don't think it will be beneficial to us whatsoever. Up Route 6 and then into Chargestone Cave. We bump into a Professor who hands us a Lucky Egg, an item giving the holder more XP after battle. This item will definitely be useful when grinding. End of the cave is another battle with N. Using Pokemon in the cave means he has 2 steel types and a rock type. But being the level we are, we can just beat him with brute force. Out the cave and into Mistralton City is first we meet the Professor's father and Skylar, the 6th gym leader, for the first time. We do a load of battles up Route 7 and we head to the top of the Celestial Tower before heading back to the city to take on Skylar in the 6th gym battle. Skylar uses flying types, so no real advantage or disadvantage for us here. She leads with Swoobat or No Balls. Shout out to you to understand that reference. She goes for Insomnia on our workout. She hits us with Acrobatics, doing just under a quarter of our health before our return takes it out. Next up is Aaron Pheasant, and we show it who's the more dominant form by one-shotting with a return. Finally, her Ace Swanna, as beautiful and elegant as his Pokemon is, it just goes down to a single return, winning us our 6th gym badge quite convincingly. Before we head out of town, I pick up the HM for Aerial Ace, a 60 base flying type move that can never miss. I decided to use it over Fly since I mentioned before, Fly being a 2-turn move and has a chance to miss. Aerial Ace, I'm getting rid of like 10 base power, but it can't miss, and it's only a 1-turn move, so I think it'll be better off for us. We continue on Route 7 and bump into Cherin before Mount Twist. Unfortunately this time, the battle doesn't go as usually planned. I work up like usual, but he crits me with an air slash doing big damage. He then taunts me before I take it down with a return. His Simipour then comes in and takes me down with a Scold since the crit did so much damage and put me at low health. I'm not gonna lie, this took me 4 attempts. His Pheasant either kept critting me, flinching me, or both. 4th attempt in, I go for a return on the get-go, but his Pheasant lives on like 2 HP before going to taunt. I click return again thinking he would heal, but he actually goes for an air slash and misses. His Simipour comes in and does decent damage with a Scold before I curb it with a single return. Surfine's in, and the Quick Claw allows me to do a one-shot with an Aerial Ace before it can attack. Finally, Lipard. I roost up just to make sure before taking it down with a return. I forgot how fast this team actually is. After the battle we see Alder, who hands us the HM for Surf, and we hand it to Ducky. In Twist Mountain, and damn this place sucks. So many trainers with either rock or steel types. It was really a grind to get through. But we managed to do so, and after we make it through, we're here at Icarus City in the place of our 7th gym battle. Next up was Bryson and his ice types. If any gym was going to give me trouble, it would be this one. His Cryogonal is surprisingly quick. I even lost to a trainer with a Cryogonal in the gym, so I decided to go train a bit more. After training, it's time for our first attempt. He starts with Vanillite, which I know is slow and fragile, so a single return does the job. Next up Beartic, who we managed to crit and take down with just a single blow as well. Finally Cryogonal. He outspeeds but for some reason decides to go for an Aurora Beam over Ice Beam, meaning we live on 66 HP and take it down with a single return. Man, these gyms have been super nice to me throughout this run. I really hope this just doesn't come back to me to bite me in the arse later. Foreshadowing. We exit the gym and see Cherin and Bianca. The Shadow Triad turn up and tell us to head to Dragon Spiral Tower. We do so, beat up a load of Plasma guys like usual before making it to the top floor to encounter N and Reshiram and cue epic cutscene number 1. I know I haven't really been talking much about Team Plasma, but that's because it's more about the challenge. If you guys know the story, then there's no point for me to cover really all of this. I really hope that you're watching this and that you've played Black and White and that you know the story by now. These cutscenes are too epic not to show though. With this, we head to the desert resort to search for the Black Stone, which we're unable to find before heading back to Nacrene City Museum. This is where it's been on display, and we actually saw it earlier in the game when being given the tour at the start of the game. Lenora hands us the Black Stone and tells us to head to, I'm going to butcher this, Oplucid? I can't remember the name of the city. Oblucid. I'm going to call it Oblucid. Oblucid City, screw it. And the Dragon-type gym leaders to learn more about the legendary Pokemon. On our way towards the city, we bump into Bianca for our last battle with her. You guys know the drill at this point. 2 workups and we sweep with return and aerial ace. Onto the Dragon City, I'm just going to call it Dragon City. And another boring ass speech from Gets Us. We meet Drayden and Iris for the first time. Well, we actually met Iris before, but I didn't actually cover it. It's time for our gym battle Dragon types. Like Skylar, neither side has a type advantage, so not too much to worry about. Playing Pokemon White means we take on Iris for the 8th gym badge. She leads with our Fracture, but we take it down with a single return. Next up is Druddigon. We work up as she goes for a Night Slash of all things before we take it down with a return. Finally her ace, Haxorus, a very hard hitting, awesome looking dragon type. She outspeeds and clicks Dragon Dance, but Paula is just too strong as we one shot of a return and with the 8th and final gym badge. Exit the gym, we're stopped by the Professor, who ends up a Master Ball before heading towards Victory Road. Before that though, I decided to make a good idea and grab some rare candies to help with the grinding. I head back to Route 4 and catch a Scraggy so that they can use Strength. 4 rare candies later, putting my total up to 5, I head to Route 10 to grind. I hit level 70 before using 5 rare candies to boost us to level 75. Just at the end of Route 10 and it's time for our final battle with Cherin. Since the last one didn't go so well, I knew I couldn't take this one lightly. First is in Pheasant again, and I take the chance to click Work Up before he taunts us. A return takes it down pretty quickly. Next up Semipour, who still outspeeds even though we're 32 levels above it. A Scald does decent damage but a return takes it down. Next up is Superior, it also outspeeds and goes for Coil, but an Aerial Ace takes it down quite quickly. Finally his Lipard, it clicks Taunt but we KO with an Aerial Ace. Time for Victory Road, which is a cakewalk, so let's move on to the Pokemon League. I deposit our HM slaves so we won't need them anymore, and head to the Pokemon League. Looking back at this, I probably could have done them in a better order to gain levels, but I just started to go from left to right, since other Elite Fours sort of like you don't have a choice. So to add a bit of challenge, I just went from left to right. So first up on the left is Chantel and her Ghost types. She leads with Pythagoras and goes for Will-O-Wisp, but misses, allowing me to get a free workup. We hit an Aerial Ace as it's our only move that we can actually hit these things with. We do just over half though before she does actually hit a Will-O-Wisp, burning us and halving our attack stat. I tried to roost a few tries to salvage what I can, but the damage she's giving me plus the burn is just way too much. I reset and try again, this time giving Paula a Rawsberry so I can heal the burn. At this point I need Kofag to at least miss one of its Willows so I can work up twice. That should be enough to be able to one-shot her team. Attempt number 3 and she misses her first Willow, allowing me to set up twice before an Aerial Ace hit, but it lives on red HP. Then she goes for a Psychic instead of Will-O-Wisp. She heals, allowing me to work up a third time, this time the Aerial Ace takes it down. At plus 3, that's pretty much GG, and we just sweep the rest of her team with Aerial Ace. Next up Grimsley and his Dark types. He leads with Scrafty. A work up on his Crunch does little damage, but he gets a defense drop. I click work up on his stand attack, lowering my accuracy. Glad I have Aerial Ace at this point so I can't miss. We click it, taking it down in 1. Next up is Crocodile, and here's a problem. It outspeeds and knows the move Foul Play, a dark type move that does more damage the higher the attack stat, and since we're at plus 1 after the Intimidate and minus 1 defense due to the Crunch, it does huge damage. The return knocks it out. Next is Lipard, which also outspeeds, and at that little health, a Fake Out into a Night Slash takes us down. Attempt number 2, and this time we work up once, so we're neutral after Krook's Intimidate. Scrafty crunches but no defense drop this time before an Aerial Ace takes it down. Krook comes in and clicks Foul Play, doing some damage before a return puts him in red. Roost on his full restore to both be back at full, another Foul Play, before a return this time gets a high roll, taking it down. In comes Lipard to Fake Up, then Night Slash as we work up. I know I need to set up a little just to take on his Bishop. 2 work ups and 2 Roost before a return takes it down Lipard. Finally, as mentioned before, his Bishop. A return put him in red before he Night Slashes, doing decent damage. He heals as we return again, but an Aerial Ace finishes off. Elite Four member number 3, Caitlyn and her Psychic types. So leads with Reuniclus, we go for a work up as she reveals Thunder, but luckily she misses. We hit a return, quickly taking it down. Next up is Sigalith. I get greedy and click work up again, she reveals the Ice Beam doing half, and she outspeeds. She goes for Ice Beam again, we live on 3 HP but she gets the freeze. That's GG. I reset and realised they didn't save after Grimsley, so I have to battle him again, and this time I'm beating without the Eviolite, so take that Grimsley. Time to take on Caitlyn again, and this one did take me a few attempts. She kept hitting Thunder and getting the powers, meaning I couldn't outspeed anything, or I'd just get full powered and die. Attempt number 6, and I decided to try the Bright Powder item to make Thunder miss, which it actually does, allowing us to work up and then take down Reuniclus with a return. Sigalith hits Ice Beam, and we KO with return. Gothitelle comes in, which also goes down to a single return. Masham was up last. I roost thinking it'd be able to take a hit, Then it hits Psychic for big damage. I get a special defense drop, meaning that the next one will definitely do more damage and possibly kill me. I have to just go for it. We hit a return and take it down in 1. Next and last up is Marshall, the fighting type Elite Four member. Although we have a special type advantage, he carries Stone Edge on most of his mons. He leads with his throw. We click work up as he hits a Stone Edge, but it doesn't even do half to us. I then go straight for an Aerial Ace, just taking it down. Next is Sork, who's easily his most annoying Pokemon in his team because of its ability Sturdy, meaning we can't take it down in one shot. It goes for Stone Edge but misses as we roost up to full. He then misses his second Stone Edge as we Aerial Ace, getting it down to its Sturdy. Marshall then uses 2 full restores as we continue to use Aerial Ace, getting it back to its Sturdy each time. He then just goes for a Karate Chop of all things, doing little damage before we take it down. Next, Conkeldurr, who goes down to a single Aerial Ace. Then finally Mienshao, who goes down to another Aerial Ace after missing its Rock Tomb. I got really lucky in that battle, but that's it, the Elite Four have been beaten. We head up to the champion room to see that N is there, and he's just defeated Alder. Cue epic cutscene number 2. N somehow gets a castle to rise from the ground and then gets loads of stairs to attach to the Pokemon League. I know it's a video game and all, but how on earth did that happen? I mean, it's super cool and all, but what? I don't know. Into the castle, into the main room, we come face to face with N and cue epic cutscene number 3. Reshiram bursts through the wall and fires a load of frames out of his butt. I don't know, it looks cool and all. The Blackstone then reacts, and that's it. Cue epic cutscene number 4. Seriously though, this game is dope. Zekrom awake, and then he shoots lightning out of his butt. With that being said, it's time for our battle with Zekrom. His catch rate is actually super low, so a quick ball does the job. And time for our final battle event. And like the last challenge video, I'm not going to show you everything, because we would be here for seriously another hour. This battle was an absolute ball ache. So let me explain. After catching Zekrom, it's automatically put in the front of the party. I can't switch Pidove in because 2 fusion players just destroy me from Zekrom and it outspeeds me. So I decide that this is going to have to be a mulligan. I either take down Reshiram with Zekrom or let it take me down, and I'm switching after Zekrom dies or after Zekrom kills Reshiram, and then we just go from there. The Zegamon is Vanillux, which always one-shots with Blizzard, so I need this to miss. He then sends in Caracosta, which hits Stone Edge, so I need to set up a Roost Stall before Archeops comes in. This outspeeds and would always one-shot with Stone Edge, so the possibility of winning this is actually super low. I knew I had to grind, but I couldn't actually leave. I tried running all the way back to the start to see if I could leave, and I couldn't do so. So after about 50 minutes of attempts, I gave up for the evening. I came back the next day and then it hit me. If I lose the battle, where does it send me to heal? It actually sends me to the Pokemon Center before the Pokemon League. I am actually able to go and train. Remember at the start of the video I said that I was using a cheat code to make the rustling grass appear more? This is why. I started grinding at 10 AM in the morning. If you look at the timer on the second screen on my first attempt at level 90, it was at 4:30 PM. Even with the lucky egg and the cheat code to make the rustling grass appear more often, I still had to grind for 5 hours. I must have taken down like 300 to 400 Ordino or something. But it was here, level 90, ready to try again. I also realised I could deposit Zekrom to the PC, so I could only take N with the Pidove, so making this challenge legit now. My strategy for this is just the same as normal. I need to work up and roost my way through each Pokemon and pray for misses. Attempt number 2 at level 19, we set up a Reshiram before taking it down on return. I bet you'd never hear that in your life as a Pokemon fan. I set up with a Pidove on a Reshiram. Paula seriously does not give a single damn whatsoever. In comes the ice cream and he gets bodied by a return. Now for Caracosta. Another Pokemon with Sturdy, so I can't one-shot it. A return takes down a Sturdy before N heals, and so do we with Roost. Another return in Stone Edge. Before we're in a better position in terms of HP. I Roost again before a Stone Edge does little, and then return to finish it off. Next is Archeops, but now we outspeed due to our level and one-shot it with a return. In comes Klinklang, which also goes down to just a single return. Paula is an absolute beast at this point. Finally it's Zoroark, and who would have thought it? It hits the floor like a sack of potatoes as we beat N, taking us to the final battle against Ghetsis. So this is it, the final battle. He leads with a Cofagrigus and uses Toxic. Oh my god. Flashbacks to Lotad Challenge. I have to start dealing with Toxic once again. If he hits the Toxic, it just means it's game. So my strategy for this at first was pretty simple. I was going to click work up, hope for a miss, and then hope that Aerial Ace would do enough damage to take it down. I soon find out that even at +2, an Aerial Ace does not KO this Pythagoras. And no word of a lie, this man hit 18 Toxics in a row. I even stopped at one point to check the accuracy of the move online in Gen 5, which is at 90%. So, time for strategy number 2, which was to either hit 2 Aerial Aces on a low defensive one or hope for a crit. I was doing an Aerial Ace and it would do just over half if it was low defensive nature. So I needed to hope it was a low defensive nature, miss a Toxic and I could hit it again, or get a crit on a low defensive nature one. So it was just resetting over and over again. The first time I get a crit, after nearly 30 attempts, he lives on like 5 HP before hitting a Toxic. I was so close to tears again. These challenges have really been draining me when it comes to the end of the challenge. Let's skip forward to the final attempt of this. Attempt number, I don't know, probably in the 60s. I really don't want to sit and count them down, so I'm just going to guess around in the 60s. We hit an Aerial Ace and he misses a Toxic. We hit the second hoping for a crit, but again he lives on like 2 HP. But then he goes for a Psychic. N heals, so I get a free workup. We hit Aerial Ace and finally crit. And to think we didn't have super luck because of Mummy, its ability, so that was just a regular crit chance. Pythagoras is down. Next in is Bishop. We work up as he reveals the Stone Edge, but we avoid the attack. Work up through a third time as he hits a Stone Edge, but it does not deal enough damage being stabbed and it only does a small bit of chunk. We ruse as he hits Stone Edge, doing even less damage as before. This time a return takes it down. And here it is. We decide it's time to sweep. Down goes the Afro Ball, the Electro Eel, Hydreigon, I love Hydreigon so much, and finally is Toad, all to single returns. And with that, we beat Pokemon White with only a Pidove. Man, what a challenge. I really enjoyed this one more than I thought I would. Some might say the setting up all the time made this really easy, but I'm using this basic ass pigeon, and I was seriously going to use any strategy I could think of. But that's going to be it for this challenge video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button down below for me. Show support towards the channel and the series. Comment down below any other challenge videos you'd like to see. Subscribe to the channel for more challenge videos, team builders and other Pokemon content. You can follow me on Twitter at SuperSailer93, on Instagram, SuperSailer93, or join our Discord,